All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of our Franchise Your Business webinar series and podcast series. My name is Tom Dufour. I am the founder and CEO of Big Sky Franchise Team. And as folks are loading into our live session here, I always like to take a minute and just do a quick plug to make sure if you have not subscribed to our podcast called Franchise Your Business, you will get a replay of this podcast or of this webinar. It will be available on your favorite podcast service over the course of the next week or so. We republish this as an audio only so that if you'd like to share that, and then also take a moment to subscribe to our Multiply Your Success podcast series. This week's guest is an excellent guest. It's Charles Bonfiglio, who's the CEO of Tint World, and he shares how he grew that to over 150 franchises, closing in on almost 200 total sold. So take a moment to subscribe to that on your favorite podcast channel. And with that, what I'd love to do is just take a moment here and introduce our guest today, who is Garrett Lang. And Garrett and I had a chance to actually meet over at the Franchise Expo in New York here a few months back. And I really liked what he was doing and how his approach to what he was looking to do to help small businesses and restaurants and food service operators across country. And I've got a little bio here, just a little background on Garrett. He began his career as a developer and computer science major at Cornell University. He attended GE's CIO leadership training program in 2001 and moved up in over at GE or General Electric and until he reported to a CIO of a $255 million income business. He's helped get his products to the upper right quadrant of the Forrester report and more than doubled his company's operating margin. Recently, Garrett's founded and is growing an award-winning food tech company called Plate Rate, which we'll be talking about today, which Plate Rate rates menu items and incentivizes customers to try the top-rated menu items at the restaurant, helping increase that and going. And I'll let Garrett present more so on that, but just a little taste of what we'll be talking about today. So with that, Garrett, I'd love to turn things over to you to get us underway and give us a little overview on what you're doing here.
Great. Thanks so much, Tom, for the introduction. And I'm going to try to make sure that I have everything correctly. All right. So let me share my screen. So basically, as Tom said, we incentivize people to try the top-rated dishes. I'm going to talk a little bit about why that's such a good thing to do. Really, if we talk about the problem we're trying to solve, because every company should be solving some sort of problem. Restaurants want new customers, more loyal customers, and increased profitability. And customers want to eat better tasting food and ideally earn some free food along the way. And we can really help both of them do that with our unique capabilities. And we do this by giving an incentive to the customer, or really letting the restaurant give an incentive to the customer to try the top-rated dishes with a credit to order again. So if the customer never comes back, there's no incentive given. So it's the only type of marketing I know of that you only spend the money on the marketing if it works. So basically right now we offer pickup and delivery. In the next couple months, we'll do dine in and order ahead, which I can talk about as well. And basically it's order from the phone and be able to take your order from the table, pay from the table. You can turn tables much faster, and we can go into that a little bit more later in the after the presentation. So a couple of things to note about PlayRate. One is that we're the highest loyalty platform that I know of. We increase orders from the POS to more than almost 70% more orders per customer than the POS system, with that unique one-time incentive to come back. We're also the highest margin platform. Our only fee to the business is a 2% credit card fee. There's no other fees as long as we're the restaurant's preferred ordering system, which is really what we want to be is a real true partner, like technology partner for the restaurant. Next is we do free organic marketing, and we do that in two ways. One, we do,
Hey,
uh,
Garrett, I'm
yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Just
no,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
I mean, I know you're covering some of the pricing here, but just with this program you're offering, I think about, okay, well, I've got to change my credit card provider if I'm a restaurateur, or what? How does that
No, no,
work?
there's no, we actually process the credit cards. So think of us a little bit like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and Grubhub, except instead of charging, we're paying the restaurant to take the orders for them. So we collect the money, we pay the restaurant every night, so we pay more quickly than most third-party ordering systems. We're really a first-party ordering system, so we want to be the restaurant's ordering system. So thanks for asking that, because I
Yeah.
don't want there to be misunderstanding there. We don't require really any changes for the restaurant. It takes less than an hour for a restaurant to get set up with us. So it's very, very quick and easy. We do all the work on our side.
So it's really I think that DoorDash, Uber Eats, like you mentioned, it's adding to the business, not trying to take away from something. You're not the so what you're saying. I mean I've been in restaurants and seen restaurants. You're not that the credit card broker fee
Correct.
person saying, "Hey, I can save you an extra point here, or give you this, or
No.
save you a quarter or nickel or whatever." That's not what you're talking about, right?
Correct. This
Okay.
isn't on the normal POS orders from the restaurant. This is orders that go through us. So if you look at an Uber Eats, DoorDash, Grubhub bill, they charge 3.5% plus a per item charge on top of that. So they're charging more than 3.5%. We're charging 2%. They also, on top of their 3.5% credit card fee, sometimes charge as much as 40% in commission. We have no commission. So we have no monthly fee. The commission-free ordering systems typically have a monthly fee of $100 to $250 a month. We have no monthly fee. We have no commission. We have a very win-win business model where we charge a small convenience fee to the customer, but the customer always earns at least as much credit and free food as the convenience fee. So we're uniquely win-win between the customer and the restaurant. The customer never ends up paying more than they would ordering direct from the restaurant by phone. And the restaurant actually makes more money when we sell their food than when they sell their own food. Plus, we get 69% more loyalty, more orders per customer with that increase in loyalty. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I just thought as you were talking, I just wanted to help clarify for
Yes,
someone who's
please.
maybe going to listen into this or
Yep.
who's watching live with us here, just to make sure we clarify that.
Yeah, yeah, no, I really appreciate that. Thanks so much. Another thing we do is we can actually build a website for the business with a 1 year commitment. We do that completely free, and then it's $350 if they don't want a 1 year commitment. We also make that website a magnet for hundreds of search terms. So when people are Googling, then the website we've built for the restaurant will come up to the top of Google. So one of the restaurants that we work with is a Thai restaurant that won Best Thai Food in Brooklyn, and where I'm actually a partner now. I've become a partner. And basically, when I started working with that restaurant, they didn't even come up in the first 100 results for Thai food in Brooklyn, even though they won Best Thai Restaurant in Brooklyn, because their website wasn't optimized for that. We optimized for it, and now we're in the top page of Google for Thai food in Brooklyn. And
Fantastic. Yeah,
same
no,
thing
that's really great.
And same thing for hundreds of other search terms. We went from $2,500 a month of volume to over $5,000 a month of volume, which is more than DoorDash is bringing in some months. So, and that's all totally organic, totally free. We're just working collaboratively with the restaurant to bring them more business. We also do organic marketing in terms of social media. So after a customer rates their food, say I have the best crab cakes of my life from Okabanan in Hell's Kitchen, then I can share that on social media, and I get invited to share that on social media and tell my friends, hey, I love the crab cakes at Okabanan. Why wouldn't I want to share them? And then my friends see, oh, they get a big credit in food to try the crab cakes that Garrett really liked. So why would they not want to try them? And so with that, we do organic marketing for the restaurant, spreading basically virally through their customer base. And that's coming out in the next call it week or two as we start to promote our mobile apps, which are brand new, and the mobile apps really push diners to share via social media, and we actually pay the customer from our pocket $10 when they share with a friend. Once that friend becomes a regular user of Plate Rate, so we're actually paying the restaurant's customers to share the restaurant with their friends. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, that's great. I think that's really great. So essentially what you're saying is you're really becoming a strategic partner with the restaurant or with the owner, with the company there, to help promote the business and with that win-win mindset, which I love.
Yeah.
That's our number one value here is win-win relationships. We're always
Great.
seeking those out. So I think it's great, versus some of these other maybe third party ordering and booking systems where I've worked with clients that they use them only begrudgingly because that they know that it's just there's an avenue to get there, but it's really more of an inconvenience. So you're really
Yeah.
working with the owner here.
Yeah, the those third-party systems often take so much margin that it's unprofitable for the restaurant. So in order for the restaurant to make money, they have to mark prices up. But then those third-party systems have a huge markup on top of that. So a $10 burger on DoorDash could cost a customer $21. Whereas with Plate Rate, they're never paying more than the $10 after the free food that they get. So that's where, like you said, it's win-win. And I have a saying where there's a win-win, I'm in. So I tried to make everything so that the restaurant wins more when they promote us than when they take orders the normal way. And so we want to be the restaurant's preferred way of taking orders. And for dine-in, we want to be the same thing. So
Yep.
maybe I'll take a second to explain dine-in. So I'll be sitting at the restaurant with a group of 5 people, say, we'll all be able to, instead of pulling up menus, we'll take our phone out, we'll scan a QR code, we'll get the menu digitally. We'll put our orders in. We'll each get separate checks, no extra work for the restaurant because everyone says they're sitting at Garrett's table. We put our order in. The wait staff can still come and serve us, like ask us if we have any questions. But instead of having to spend their time writing down the order, they're providing great hospitality and great service. And so we're not trying to replace the wait staff at all. We just want to help them provide better service. And then, once we've all put our order in, food comes out. If I want another glass of wine, I just pick up my phone in 10 seconds, put an order in for another glass of wine, and it comes out in 5 minutes because it gives an alarm or a printout at the bar. They pour my glass of wine, and then the wait staff gets notified. They bring it over to my table. So a much smoother ordering process than is typically experienced by customers. Better service, which is going to lead to better tips. The customer will pay on their phone at the end of the night, so you never have to bring a check out, which cuts table turns by 20 minutes. We also have a thing called order fast for people who are in a rush, so like a business lunch. You don't usually have, if it takes 15 minutes to get to a restaurant and it takes half an hour to look at the menu, choose what you want to order, and for the restaurant to cook the food, and another half an hour to eat your food, and then 15 minutes to get back to the office. That's an hour and a half lunch. People don't have time for that usually. So with us, we can allow you to pre-order and prepay for your food. And then at 12, at 11:30, at 12 o'clock, your group of 5 sits down at the restaurant. Your food is served right when you sit down. You're in and out of the restaurant in half an hour, so a power lunch, and you're back into the office within an hour. And that way, the restaurant's turning tables probably more than twice as fast. And it's a win for the customers because they can actually eat in a restaurant. Whereas most of my career, I ate at my desk because I just couldn't take an hour and a half to go to a restaurant during the work hours.
Huh. Oh, I've been there. I know I've done the same thing where I'd love to go to my favorite spot, but between the commute, the wait, and the commute back to the office, it just didn't work.
Yep, exactly. And we want to fix that problem. So another thing we do is for our early restaurants, we allow them to, we actually encourage them to introduce us to some of their friends with restaurants in the same neighborhood. And here's the network effect that comes up from that. Say you have, we have 2 restaurants near each other in Brooklyn. We have Thai Farm Kitchen, which is the Thai restaurant award-winning Thai restaurant that I'm a partner of. And then we have Saki Sushi right across the street. Well, say they each have 3,000 loyal customers, and 300 of those people are the same people, but that means 2,700 people don't know about the other restaurant. We can market to those people and say, hey, try Saki Sushi, and you get a big credit in free food, and try Thai Farm Kitchen, you get a big credit in free food. And now they're sharing customers. And you don't, when you feel like Japanese food, you're not really competitive with Thai food because you go to Thai food when you feel like Thai food. So it's really sharing customers, and then they both have almost twice as many customers. And then you can imagine with 5 restaurants doing the same thing, it's a drastic increase in customers for everybody, and all the restaurants on Plate Rate win together.
Love this. Yeah, thank you.
Sure. So just looking at how we stack up, the incentives that most restaurants offer are the ones we recommend. It's a 30% credit to try the top rated menu items and any of the alcohol. And basically, on the very first order, you get an extra 30%. What this does is it makes the customer see, oh, I get a 60% credit to come back. But for the restaurant, they're getting full price on the first order. So that 60% is really 30% because it's spread out between two orders, one full price, one 60%. So it's really a 30% incentive for the restaurant, but it makes customers' eyes go wide, right? Because they see 60%, but for the restaurant, it's really 30%, which is profitable on alcohol, quite profitable on alcohol, but about break even for most restaurants with food. But if you think about it, it's like giving out free samples of your best menu items, but where you only give out a free sample of each of the best menu items one time to each customer and never again, because these incentives never are given a second time. And so what that does is it puts us at a 60% credit for a customer, which is similar to Living Social, but Living Social and Groupon are really bad for restaurants because they get a discount and they don't have to come back to earn that credit. So there's no loyalty. People usually come once and then they never come back, and your loyal customers might just buy 5 Groupons and never come in for full price, and they perceive the value of the food much lower. Whereas with plate rate, we don't have that devaluing of the perceived value of the food because it's a credit to come back and it's a one-time credit and customers know that. Now, if we've already kind of compared ourselves to the Grubhubs, DoorDashes, and Uber Eats, we're much lower in price and much higher in loyalty. So I can't see a good reason why anyone would prefer to send their customers to these guys instead of to us. We're not saying not to use these third-party delivery guys. Yeah, feel free to use them, but encourage your customers to order from Plate Rate since we're higher margin and higher loyalty. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And then a case study, we with Thai Farm Kitchen, we looked at because I have access to the POS data. I looked at the POS data, and this is where I found that in the POS we got an average of 1.3 orders per customer, and with Plate Rate we got 2.2 orders per customer over a 5-month time period, and that's where we had almost a 70% increase in loyalty. We also noticed that for pickup and delivery, the average check size was about 30% higher than the national average of $30. So we're talking, and then the amount of spend, this isn't on the slide, but the amount of spend was roughly equivalent to dine-in from pickup and delivery because we got so many orders, even though people are ordering less because it's, just usually one or two people ordering pickup and delivery. The spend was a little higher with Plate Rate than it was for dine-in.
Hmm.
So there's really no risk. There's no cost to trying Plate Rate other than saying that you'll use us for 6 months and you get, no fees for online ordering other than the 2% credit card fee, which is below cost, probably below almost everybody's POS, if not everybody's POS credit card cost. We fit seamlessly into existing operations. We ask the restaurant how their operations work. How do you normally get your orders? And we kind of mimic that. We can print out to a kitchen printer, as I kind of mentioned subtly, and we can have an alarm go off at a tablet. We can also have a phone call go to the restaurant, a robocall. We can do any combination of all of those, and we can send faxes. Pretty much any way you can think of a restaurant ever getting notified, we can do. And we can set it up and configure it the way the restaurant wants. So we really want to just flow easily with a restaurant's normal ordering system. And in return for using us and promoting us to your customers, you'll get a 70% more orders per customer and at a higher margin than the POS system. So, that's kind of the quick version of what we have to offer and all I have slides on, but there's other stuff we can talk about. I don't know if you have any questions about that or if we have any questions from the folks here. I'm happy to answer those. And then, after that, I can go into more things that we do for restaurants. We have, I've built partnerships with other companies that can be pretty interesting. And so I could mention a few of those.
Sure. Well, I think it'd be worthwhile noting, and I'd love to open it up for anyone that's attending here or tuning in live. Feel free to type any questions into the chat or raise your hand, and I can unmute you. And if you have specific questions, but I guess one thing in particular, Garrett, that I'd be curious about, certainly. most of the folks we're working with or helping, we help companies franchise their business. So these are oftentimes people that are either in the process of franchising or they have franchised already, and maybe they have some franchisees in their system. How do you work in a multi-unit system like that?
Yeah, we're built from the ground up to work with that type of system. So what we do is we will digitize the menu for one restaurant, and we will add an account for that restaurant to all of the different locations of the franchise. And then you can very easily edit your settings to be individual per franchise, or you can update all the locations at one time with the menu. You can make tweaks to menus if you want, but you can also upload the same menu everywhere at once very easily. And then if you want to change it at one location, you can change it at just that one location. So we're really built for multi-unit, efficiency. And we're also open to new feedback on things that we can do better. We're still a young company, and I hope we will always have this attribute of listening really carefully to customers. We have been doing that, and when customers say, hey, it would be really useful to have X, Y, and Z, we've been building those things. And so, we've built almost all of the features that restaurants have asked for, because we really want to be the most customer-centric player in the space. Like, I want to be listening, 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 and I really value the feedback, not only from the restaurants, but also from the restaurants' customers. So, really important to us is to keep the customers happy.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. Well, Garrett, what I'd love to ask is for someone who's interested in either signing up, learning more, just getting in touch, well, how can they do that?
So a couple of ways. You can email me directly. It's Garrett, Garrett, at platerate.com, platerate.com. Or you can go to our contact us. We're contactable through phone or email from the website. And by phone, it's 833 plate rate. So it's pretty easy to remember. Managed to get that number. So yeah, you can always call us at 833 plate rate and just ask any questions you want. Either we'll have someone that can answer questions at that number as well.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Well, I don't see any questions coming through. And, I think what you shared was fantastic. I mean, I know you said you had a few things you'd like to add in. Anything else you'd like to share here for us?
Yeah, I'll just mention a few things. Like in my network, I've learned about some opportunities that I introduced to restaurants. And so if people are interested in these, I can connect them with the appropriate people. Just reach out to me the same way. And this is especially true for franchises. Any owner that has more than 10 people making $25,000 a year on payroll, I can get them free preventative health care for their employees, and actually not only not cost them anything, but save $500 per employee per year. And so you're offering better benefits to your employees. It is MEC, so for people with over 50 employees, it counts as the minimum essential coverage of insurance, and you get free guaranteed life insurance, free access to a doctor and counselor anytime you want, 6 free urgent care visits per year, annual labs, access to fitness coaches, licensed dietitian, free medications and deep discounts on other medication, and a really cool smart biometric app that you can monitor your health regularly, and your primary care person will monitor it. And our CEO gave two examples of, one COO of a company, her physician was noticing her blood pressure slowly rise, very, very slight, but they were like, hey, could you check this out with a specialist? She went to a specialist, and they said she was 2 weeks from having a heart attack potentially. So they treated her and she was fine. But, had they not had that monitoring in place, who knows what would have happened. And so this is the type of thing that you just can't, it's worth more than money, and it doesn't cost anything to the employer. It saves the employer money. So now I don't recommend, if you can afford, this doesn't cover hospital visits and stuff like that. So, it's not meant to replace existing health coverage. Anything that people have in place today would remain in place. This would be incremental, folded on top of any existing coverage. And it's super easy. It takes less than 2 hours for an HR person's time to get everything set up. So that's one thing. Another group in my network can put ghost kitchens. If a kitchen has a lot of capacity and the restaurant wants to increase volume, they can put ghost kitchens into the restaurant and do orders for major brand names. Just and they make a margin from that. And another one is same day payment for employees. If they want to pay on a credit card same day, which employees tend to like. And then there's a marketing company that I got introduced to that we do pretty darn good SEO. We get ahead of all of our, billion-dollar competitors, and we get ahead of Yelp. We get ahead of pretty much everybody when we do SEO. But there's a firm that I'm just getting familiar with, and I haven't used them myself yet, but I'm going to be soon. And they do SEO potentially even better than we are now. We haven't competed with them yet, so I'm not positive, but they also get the phone number and email address of people who come to any of those web pages and then can market to them to help convert them to be customers of the restaurant. And this is an interesting company to me because they bet on themselves, and they say that whatever you spend on the marketing system, it takes about 6 months for this type of organic marketing to work. So they say by 6 months, if we haven't made twice as much revenue for you, as been able to prove that we made twice as much revenue for you, then we're going to reduce our costs to cover the difference. And so because they're willing to bet on themselves, I think they really stand out amongst marketing companies. So I can make introductions there as well. So these are all just things that in my network, I try to find anything and everything to help our two missions. Mission number one is to give customers the ultimate dining experience. And mission number two is for the restaurants. We want restaurants to be as profitable as possible. So anything I can think of to help either one of those missions, I try to bring into the partnership.
Sure. Well, I appreciate that. Well, and I want to stay focused on plate rate. I don't want
Yeah.
people to get lost or confused
No,
with
no, I
everything you
agree.
said here. So let's keep focused on plate rate to talk
Sure.
about how that can drive revenue and new customers and repeat customers to the business. So, Garrett, I do not see any other questions in here. So the website was platerate.com. Is that right?
That's correct. Like, rate what's on your plate.
I love it. Well, Garrett, I appreciate you being a guest. The content is fantastic. I just think you're really doing some great stuff, and you really have, in my opinion, I think your heart's in the right place. Really trying to serve and support these restaurants and especially these owner operator locations. So love what you're doing. Keep it up, and thank you so much for being here. And to our attendees, thank you so much for being here as well. A reminder: we will have this published and live on our and in our podcast called Franchise Your Business, as well as on our YouTube channel at Big Sky Franchise Team on YouTube. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. Appreciate it. Have a great weekend.
Thanks so much for having me. Appreciate it, Tom.
Thank you.